People ask me all the time, what was my favorite interview? Well, I could never really narrow it down and say what my favorite interview was, but I can tell you this. The opportunity I had to sit down with Nelson Mandela was life-changing for me. You said in 1964, there is no easy walk to freedom. Has that walk been more difficult than you envisioned in 1964?
Well, from the point of view of a broad perspective, we knew that we were heading for difficult times because we're dealing with a regime which had no sympathy whatsoever to our aspiration. But the precise manner in which those difficulties presented themselves was difficult for anybody to foresee. But I think we have been able to go through that experience.
I would imagine, and you correct me if I'm wrong, certainly looking at the personal sacrifices, the personal prices that you have paid in this walk to freedom, you've got to have a lot of emotions. I don't know if they are anger, bitterness.
Well, there were certainly moments when I was in prison when I felt angry about having been deprived of the opportunity to give protection and security to my beloved wife, especially when when the regime continued to persecute and to harass her. It is the duty of a man to protect his wife. I was not in a position to do so. I also was unable to see my children grow and to be able to help them to face problems and help them to shape their attitude towards life. I did feel angry at particular moments when something happened to focus my attention on the type of life they were living. But generally speaking, we used the opportunity of being in jail for the purpose of looking at ourselves from a distance and to try to rectify the mistakes which we had made and to plan ahead. That gave you very little time to brood over your situation. And I was also with men and women, with men of caliber, men of talent, and we were close together and we shared experiences which made us forget about our actual situation.
Many African Americans have expressed concern that a post-apartheid South Africa would be similar to what happened to African Americans upon the abolishment of slavery in this country.
Well, I do not know if we should be worried about that possibility. What we must concentrate upon is that the South Africa that we are demanding and inviting everybody to help us build is the one that is thoroughly democratic and not only on the political level, but also where the wealth of the country is shared equally amongst all its people. The reason I think that there was this scenario to which you are referring at the end of the slavery, when slavery was abolished, is that people were simply thrown out into the streets. They themselves had the responsibility to look for jobs, to look for shelter, which was very difficult because at least whatever the difficulties were with their masters, they had shelter they could eat it, and which was not the case when slavery was abolished. We don't think that there'll be a similar scenario. On the contrary, what is likely to happen is that people will be assured of jobs, will in due course be assured, of housing, and will be assured of a new life where their dignity as human beings will be protected and where their aspirations will eventually be accommodated. So it's a different scenario.
Shifting gears now from Nelson Mandela to Louis Farrakhan. When I think back on what I had to do to get an interview with Louis Farrakhan, I amaze myself. I also say to myself now, you did all of that to get to Louis Farrakhan, but at the end of the day, it was an interview that I will never forget. Take a listen. Minister Farrakhan, you have consistently denied being anti-Semitic, but the media has consistently portrayed you as being anti-Semitic. Why is that?
It is because Jews are very sensitive, as we are. And if someone is critical of Jews or critical of some aspect of what they do, the first thing that is used as a defense mechanism is that the person is anti-Semitic. So in my judgment, the Holocaust is used to create sympathy, and the term anti-Semitic is used to stifle criticism. I am critical of certain aspects of Jewish behavior. I make no bones about that. But that does not mean that I hate Jews because I criticize them. Jesus criticized them, but he didn't hate them. The prophets criticized their behavior. It didn't mean that they hated them. But criticism comes to all of us to correct our behavior and put us on a path that will make us more successful. My criticism of Jewish control, of black politicians, black organizations, black business, black thought, is a valid criticism. And I intend, by the power of Allah, to break up Jewish control over black people, period. We are not to be controlled by any other group of people. Otherwise, freedom is a mockery.
So everything on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show wasn't about big names, big celebrities. Often it was about making a difference in everyday life. We'll show you some of that coming up.